Hey friends, welcome to another Real Deal Wealth video. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty crazy solution to the 2021 housing crisis, and that's 3D printing your next house. Let's get into it. Okay, so 3D printing your next house. Is this really a reality? Are we really there? And is it going to be cheap? We're going to be talking about that today. We've got myself, my name is Scott, I'm a side hustle specialist. We've got Steve Graber with us, who is your real estate go-to, as well as David Stroud, your money man and your mortgage specialist. And we've been exploring some pretty cool solutions to our current housing crisis, what's coming down the pipe. And we've been looking at things like 3D printing houses. And so let's go ahead and just jump right into this. Steve, you're the expert. You've been studying this stuff for some incredible projects that you have going on here in Colorado. Tell us about what you've run across.
Yeah, it really starts with affordable housing. That's kind of what got me into this at the very beginning. And I've been really excited about some of the technologies that have really been coming out. I've really seen a lot change here, even in the last 6 months here. Here we are in 2021, but everyone's trying to come up with some good solutions because lumber prices have been way up. We're even seeing steel prices up as well. Now, I know some of the prices are starting to come back down with lumber, but even still, it's time for some new technologies to come forth, and it's here, guys. And I want to kind of get your feedback on this as well. 3D printed houses. Is it worth it to get a 3D printed house? I mean, really, honestly, these things are a fraction of the cost. And especially if you can do this in a subdivision where you move the unit that actually makes this from place to place. Look at this. This is, would you guys feel proud to live in this house as a 3D printed home?
I think that the ultimate design of these things can be like literally the fact that you can plug into a computer and the machine will alter the architecture of the building. You can make this thing look as modern as you want to. Obviously, there's a lot of the additional features, the windows, the garage, the roof, those kind of things stay the same as far as the technology goes. But the basic foundation, the fact that you can literally type into a computer the plans and make it look however you want, that's incredible.
Right. Road noise too. Road noise always bothers me when you're hearing the traffic go by you. And again, I don't think you'll hear it in this kind of a house. It's so insulated.
So this house right here that you're showing, from my understanding, it's already been listed on the MLS for sale, and I believe it's already been sold. So that's kind of neat. I do wonder as far as like financing how this would work. So I think that might be a curveball. If someone's going to purchase this house in order to get a loan for it, that might be a little bit difficult because it might be hard to find comparable properties or comps, as they're called, for this property. So, but as long as there's a few out there, then it should be easier. So as these get built up more and more specifically in different communities and subdivisions, then it should be easier to get a loan for something like this.
Easier to get a loan. It's also easier to insure something like this. Again, to try to rebuild this house is going to be much cheaper than it would be a stick-built home, where everything burns down. First of all, you don't have to deal with the fireproofing of it, other than maybe the windows. But if you have those windows and even garage doors and everything is fiberglass, again, rebuilding costs, insurance is going to be way lower. So,
Scott, so my question is, as far as earthquakes in certain areas of the country and in the world, of course, earthquakes are a big deal, especially when you're talking about concrete homes. So, like places like Honduras and other nations that have been struck by earthquakes, it's a much bigger deal in countries and communities that have concrete built homes than it is for those that have stud walls. So Steve, do you know if that's a concern with this 3D printed home design?
That's a great question, David. When the foundation moves and how that actually works, because as you know, sometimes concrete can crack. So I think that I have not researched that yet, but that is something we probably need to know about as well. But hard to say on that. I'm no expert on that, and I'd have to get an answer for you.
Show us the process really quick. I know we looked over Habitat for Humanity's website, and they have some really cool pictures if you want to show that really quick of what the process looks like to bring a machine in that's that big that could actually print a house, 3D print a house.
Okay, Scott. Yeah, thanks for asking about that. You mentioned the Habitat for Humanity does have their very first 3D house that they're working on. And I want to show you what they're using to build this. They're actually kind of showing what the end product can look like. Great stuff. But then you can actually watch them as they're building it, how they're actually putting it together. So again, there's a lot of machinery that goes into making this happen, but they ship this in. Again, if you're doing communities where you're doing one house after another, makes all the sense in the world. And so this is gonna be a 1738 square feet living house. And so you can kind of see, that's kind of nice they can put their name on this as well. But check this out. So these things are designed to go back and forth and actually start pouring the concrete. Here you can see it going back and forth. They'll come around like this, and then it's going to make its way back, and then make its way back again. And you keep doing layers. And as I understand, you can do this within 24 hours. It does not take long for these to be built. So let me show you just a few more pictures on this. Here you've got, you can see how this just kept going back and forth, and kind of if you want to make a little more design to it, you can do that too. Here you see that, they don't have the hard corners, but it's rounded like this, but still it's all kind of done for you. You don't have to do seams, and it can look really cool inside and out.
That's neat. You pay extra money for those rounded corners there. So that's pretty cool.
Yes. So anyway, it's all built into the design. So I really liked it. Do you guys have any questions on this?
I think this really makes me question how people are going to start viewing homes in the future. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. I'm calling it the Ikea generation trend. My grandparents would buy pieces of furniture for a lot of money, but that was like the family furniture heirlooms that were going to be passed down from generation to generation. And something happened between my parents and our generation where we no longer really value those older, sturdier pieces, right? Like we'd rather go to Ikea and pick the more modern furniture. When we're done with it, we toss it, sell it on Facebook Marketplace, whatever, and just go buy something new. Nothing is permanent anymore, I think, unless you have something that has some kind of sentimental value. And I'm really wondering if this kind of technology is going to start showing up in the housing real estate world, right? Like where you're going to buy a piece of property that has a house, but you're now looking at that house as a temporary thing. And if the technology gets cheap enough and convenient enough, that we may see people coming in for the land. Like you said earlier, location, location, location. I just want to buy here in Colorado. And it doesn't matter what's on top of the land. We're going to bulldoze that. We're going to bring in a 3D printer and print exactly what we want. And after 10 years, if we don't like that anymore, we're going to print a whole new one. Again, I think we're years out from that, but it could be that future generations really do start seeing real estate as expendable items that change with seasonal desires, if that makes sense. I want something new, bulldoze it down. We're going to build something completely new.
Another market disruption, guys. We've seen market disruptions throughout the years. Look at the technology generation that we've got right now. You look at how cars are changing before our very eyes, and I think houses are there as well. So let's watch and see exactly what happens. But we're already seeing some great innovations that are right here upon us.
Good stuff. Well, what do you guys think? Is our audience, is this something that you are interested in? Are you going to 3D print your next house if the technology becomes available for your area? We're here. If you have any questions, if you're interested in real estate in Colorado to potentially keep for future 3D printing opportunities, contact myself or Steve. If you want to know if you can 3D print or build with some of these other really cheaper technologies right now and maybe get a loan for this kind of stuff, David is going to be your go-to guy. He can let you know what's potentially available in your area or steer you to somebody potentially who can help. So all our contact information is in the description box below. Thanks a ton for watching. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button if this has helped. And we will be releasing a bunch more videos here soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again on the next one.